This is the third part of creating an author website using WordPress. And again, we're using the free WordPress sites at wordpress.com. So what we've done so far is gone through and we've set up our site. It's public and configured, and now in the last video we went through and we updated the theme, and we set a site name, and now we're ready to get in and start creating some content. So in this video, we're going to walk through creating a page. So we're going to update this about page to put our own author bio content in here. And then we're also going to add a blog post. So what I'm looking at here is a preview of my site. So I'm going to go back to the administrative side. So again, this is where I can see the site activity, any posts or comments that are showing up. And now we're getting into this publishing area. So it's kind of this first area right underneath the stats button. So there's two different types of content pages that I can add. There's the blog post and then the actual static pages. And the big difference is that the blog posts are going to show up under your blog role, which, if you remember from the last video, we've set up our home page as the blog. And so any new blog posts that I add are going to automatically show up under that page if it's your home page. And any pages that I add are going to be set up as those different menu items. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to create an author page. So I'm going to click this pages button under here. So there's a quick link over here where I can add, and that's going to create a new page. But what we're going to actually do first is we're going to customize that about page that WordPress gives you by default. So we already have an about page started, and we're going to go in and we're going to modify it to put in our author bio. Okay. So if you click on that, it's going to take you to an editor. So at the top here is where you're going to put the title of that page, and it's also going to control how it shows up in the menu. So if you remember on our preview of the site, we had a home and then an about page. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to update that title. So we'll say about me. And then down below that, you have a editor where you're able to go through and put in your author bio. So again, you can type your content right into this if you want to author your content right in the web browser. You can also build out your content in a editor like Word or Pages, and do all your formatting and get all your content spell checked and everything, and then paste it in, which is what I'm doing here. So I'm adding in the author bio. I've created it in another document. I'm just pasting it in. So there's some basic formatting stuff you can do within here. If you want to bold or italicize some of your fonts, if you want to do changes to your alignment. But in this case, I'm just going to paste that stuff right in. And then down at the bottom, so right below the editor, I have an option to preview what that page will look like. And so when you're adding content in here, if it's text or images, it's really important to preview it, because the way it shows up in this editor isn't necessarily how it's going to show up on your website. So if we click that button, it's going to jump out to the website, and then you'll see how it's actually displaying out there. So I see that site title that I plugged in where it says About Me. That's that title up at the top, and then below that's the content that I put in. And so everything looks good. This is kind of, this is displaying fine. But what I want to do is I want to go in and add an author photo over on the side here. So I'm going to close the preview. And then back in the editor here, I'm going to click right next to the name here, and I'm going to hit Add Media. And so again, if you are doing this from scratch, you'll go through and you'll say Upload Files. You'll pick your author photo, and it'll add it to your media library. I've already preloaded images here, so I'm going to select the author photo that I want, and I'm going to insert that into the post. Okay, and so what you're seeing is a really large image, and then if I hit preview on this, you're going to see the layout, and it's really not formatted very well, so it's not really what I want in there, right? So I'm going to need to resize the image, and then I'm going to want to go through and update the layout a little bit. So if I go back to edit, you'll notice in here, so I'm just going to go through that again. So I select this image, and then a little menu comes along at the top, and I can hit that little pencil button to edit it. And by default, so I've uploaded an image. It's not huge, but it's bigger than I want to have it. So you see here it says full size. If I click that drop down, I can customize it so I can make it, maybe 200 by 300, so it's a little smaller, or maybe I want it large. And again, so I can pick a different size in here. The alignment's actually how I wanted it, so I want it on the left, but if you wanted it right aligned, you could toggle over to the right alignment and it'll put it off to this other side of the text. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll hit update in there. So it looks like in this case it's still a little bit too big. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to the medium setting. Okay, so that's a little bit better. I'm still going to hit preview just to make sure that that's how I wanted it. So now I have the about me, I've got the author photo here along with the text, and it's displaying a lot more what I wanted now. Okay, so I've got the preview, but it's not a live post yet. So if I actually go out to the page, it hasn't been updated. And it's because I'm just using the preview button. So it's just allowing me to get a sense of what the post is going to look like before I actually publish it as a live page. So again, what we're doing is we're updating that about page. So this page is already out on the site. So it's already been published with the old version. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, once I'm happy with it, I'm going to hit that update button in the lower right. And what that's going to do is it's going to take all my changes and it's going to apply them to the about page on my site. And once I do that, I can click this view page button. It's telling me that it successfully posted it. I can hit view page, and now you'll see it's actually updated the title into the menu, and then it's updated the content on the page as well. So now I have the author photo here, and then I've got the text that comes alongside of it there as well. Okay, so that's a static page. So again, I have my blog role as my home page, and then now I have customized an author bio page. And again, if you're not running a blog and you just have that about the author page, you can set it up that way. It'll just, when you go out to your website, it'll just bring you right to this page right here where it says about me, and that'll be it. And that's all you really need, just to have a basic landing page if that's all you want, if you're not going to be blogging. So I'm going to close this out, and next we're going to go through and we're going to add our blog posts to the site too. So we'll see how it works. So this is again adding a page, but when we add a blog post, it really is a lot of the same process there. So rather than going to pages, I'm going to go to blog posts, and in this case, if I click on there, you notice that I don't have any blog posts yet, so I need to create my first post. So I could use the quick link over in the publish menu, or I'm just going to say start a post right there. Okay, so for the first blog post that I'm going to do just a text only one. So I've got all my text edited in this other document, and I'm just going to copy and paste that into the editor. So again, the first thing you're going to set is the title for the post. So I'm going to set that up here. And this is just, again, a text-only post that I'm going to paste into it. And what we're going to look at is some of the options for posting. So we've got our title, we've got our content. I'm going to preview it, just make sure it looks right. Okay, and everything's formatted. Okay, that looks great. And now I can decide if I want to go ahead and publish this right away, so it'll show up right on the home page on that blog roll, or if I want to schedule it for a certain date. So maybe I'm working on a post, but I've drafted one and I have another one that's going to be going out, but I don't want it to show up until later in the week. You can schedule a date for that post to go live. So once you're all finished with it and you schedule it, it won't actually show up on your site until the date that you pick. So just something to think about as you're going through and doing your posts. If you do weekly posts and you draft it throughout the week, maybe you want the post to go live every Tuesday. If you draft it over the weekend, you can finalize it, get it all set, and then schedule it, and then it'll automatically show up that next Tuesday or whatever date you picked. Okay. So the other thing we're going to do, so this post doesn't have an image that goes with it within the content, but I can still set a featured image for it. So what that's going to do, go ahead and add that featured image in. What that's going to do is when I publish this, it's going to just take a minute to show up here. It's going to, on my home page, on my blog page, it's going to add image along the side of it. And then when I click into that content, there's my regular page. So each of your blog posts can have images within the posts themselves, and they can also have a featured image, which is kind of just a thumbnail, like a image to show some interest for the content. So you could set a featured image that's one of the images within the post, or if you're just using text posts, you don't have to add a featured image. If you don't, it's just going to show up with some text, but you can pick one if you have a supporting image that you want to add to it, and it just gives a little bit more visual interest to your homepage where your blog role is going to show up. Okay, so that's adding a blog post to your page, and then adding an about the author page. So in the next post we'll go through, in the next video we'll walk through how to add a contact page, and then how to add a Illustrator gallery. So thanks for watching.